Aha.
Oh, shit, that's loud. Loud.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
All right, now I think we got this, so we can post the link.
Okay, do you want me to do one?
Yeah.
Which one do you want me to do? Twitter?
Yeah, do Twitter. Air links. And are we already broadcasting?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Cool. Electric Fancave. Do this. And no más. Where did my window go? Oh, here it is. Boom. Nope. Let's see. Cricket. Who else is supposed to discuss this with us? Mel. There. Whew, I'm sweating to death. Holy. So how's your day been since Owen?
Oh, fine.
Very
We were
nice.
going to go in the pool. Some friends came over at like 3, and like right before they got here, the pool guy got here. And so he like put chemicals, and he's like, "Oh, you guys can't go in for like an hour." So then we sat around until 5.
Sad.
So then I went in, and I was like, "You guys can hang out here. I have to go inside." It's like when you called me, I was in the spa. So I was like,
You were in the spa?
yeah.
So hot.
Well, the spa wasn't on. I was just sitting
gotcha.
in the spa.
Fair enough. Yeah, the gym was like wicked hot, and the thing that I hadn't like really thought about was like that I have like, I don't know if bad circulation in my hands is the right word for it, but you know how my hands get so hot? That's why I never wear rings, because they like swell up and I can't get them off. And so putting them inside gloves is like the worst thing on the planet. And so I was in there and I'm like trying to punch, but I'm like, my hands are so big. They're so big right now. It was, oh boy, it was uncomfortable. I'm sure like you get used to it after a while, but I was not feeling it. Oh, is Melanie having troubles? Oh, she says, I'm coming. She was here briefly.
Yeah, I thought it looked like she was here.
Yep, and I don't know.
You also posted in the fiction in the Goodreads.
Oh, I didn't post in the Goodreads, but I don't think anyone really checks that as much. So that's
I don't. I know.
No, I think most people find it through Facebook, so that's okay. But I feel bad because it was like I wanted to put something up earlier today, but I was so busy I didn't get a chance. And I know there were so many people who wanted to discuss this book, so I'm going to feel really bad if I'm like, sorry, I forgot to remind you.
I tweeted it earlier.
Oh, did you? Okay, yeah. That's good. I feel good about that at least. That's a plus. Oh, my abs hurt too. I thought that so yesterday, when I went, he was like, it's a running day, so we run and do abs. And so I was like, okay. And today I woke up and I was like, my abs are kind of sore, but hey, I think I did a pretty good job. I'm okay with it. And then I didn't realize that we were going to end after all of the boxing today with abs too. And so tomorrow, there's a chance I may not be able to move at my party tomorrow. I'm just going to throw that out there. So we'll see. You and Bree can carry me through all my numbers.
Okay, we'll do.
All right, Melanie Ray. What's up, girl? Oh, her computer froze. What happened to John?
Who's John?
He works Mac at the comic book store.
Oh, is he gonna come talk to us?
Yeah.
Oh.
Where are you at?
Freaking Owen was killing me today. He plowed through 8 cookies.
Oh my god, it was hilarious. He just kept shoving them in his mouth like, no one will ever let me have these again.
Well, his mom kind of made it sound like he eat cookies a lot, so I was like, ooh.
Yeah. I was like, oh, Kristen, you
enjoyed it? Just ate 12.
Melanie, John?
Can you hear us?
I guess not.
Oh.
Hey, there we go. There's one, sort of.
Hey.
Hello. We can't see you.
Not seeing. Can you see?
Ah, there we go.
There we go.
Much better. We're still having problems with Mel there.
Nope. There she goes.
She stopped it again. Oh no.
Poor Duncan. Is Duncan coming?
I don't know. I thought so. This is again. This is why I feel bad. I'm like, I feel like I didn't remind enough, and there were so many people who were so eeger, and I feel like Duncan was like, this is one that he actually read, where normally he comes in the conversation, he hasn't read anything. So,
see, I'm double full. I'm twofold on that. I'm on one side, people have calendars, they can write it down, so.
It's a very good point. John's here.
Hey, John. Yeah. Way to be.
With a little lag. Oh. All right, John. This is the worst.
This is gonna be a good chat. It's gonna be me and Corey talking to John's picture. Yeah. Kind of moves sometimes.
Good Lord. This for once we have it all figured out and nobody else does. This may be a bust.
I call a guy who works on IT, but that's me.
What?
Well, I said I call a guy who works on IT, that's me. I suck.
You have so much lag on your thing right now that it's like every other word was coming.
I think he's saying he'd call the IT guy, but I think he's the IT guy.
Oh, and we lost him. Oh my god.
Oh, there he is.
This is insanity.
So, Corey, did you read The Martian?
I did read The Martian. It was a delightful book.
Right? So good. I invited my friend Alex because he loved it, but he didn't. I think he forgot to.
Oh, yeah.
He's one of those people where he you'll tell him oh, hey, we're doing this. He's like, yeah, that sounds awesome. And then when it comes around to it, he acts like you've never told him before. So I told him 2 weeks ago, I was like, yeah, we're gonna have book club. It's gonna be Google Hangouts. And he's like, oh, cool, great. And so then earlier 2 days ago, I was talking to him. I was like, yeah, we're gonna do I was like, yeah, well, I have book club on Friday. And he's like, for what? I'm like, for The Martian. I'll be on Google Hangouts. He's like, oh, cool, maybe I'll come, do it. I was like
we've had this conversation.
Yeah, and then was it the other day? It was the other day, the day before we'd had a conversation, and then we had the exact same conversation the next day, and I was like, what's happening? Am I crazy? I feel crazy because you don't seem to remember this, but we just had he's like, well, it wasn't with me, and I'm like, yes, it was with you. It was with you. We talked about this exact thing, and luckily another person was there, and so they validated me.
Nice.
Because for a second I'm like, maybe I'm having some maybe deja vu. But
in fairness, I do that sometimes. Apparently, we had a whole conversation about that Ted Mosby.
Yeah, you did. We did.
Yeah, and none of us remembered it at the Civil War reenactment. So.
No, I remembered it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, well.
But I wasn't really in the conversation. You guys had like posted about it, or whatever it was happening.
Gotcha.
And then by the time like I was gonna come in and be like, we literally just talked about this 2 days ago, you guys had already kind of decided that you had just talked about it. So then I was like,
fair enough. Mel?
John?
Oh.
I'm really sad because I really like this book a lot.
I know. I really want to talk about it. Like, I don't want to like not talk about it. I'm willing to reschedule so that people can do this because I really want to discuss this book. I read the whole thing. I didn't like not read any of it.
It's kind of hard not to read the whole thing. I read it in 1.5 days.
Yeah, I read it. I read most of it today, actually.
Well, actually, here's the thing. So I borrowed it from my friend, the one who can't remember, who has like amnesia. And he put like began July 19th, 2 p.m. in Antigua, Guatemala. Right. Whatever. So then he lent, and so then I borrowed it from him. So then I wrote, lent to Kristen Lutterell on 8/23. Began 8/23 at 1:10 p.m. in the kitchen. Finished on 8/24 at 11:37 p.m. And then I was gonna write in bed, but that sounded slightly dirty,
Yeah.
so I didn't.
Hey, Bailey.
Hi.
Hey, good to see ya.
I live.
Yes, we're having
Bailey,
technical difficulties.
You're our first member to join that we can actually talk to.
See and hear.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's been rough going. You can see the picture of John there. He's not able to get in. Melanie keeps showing up and disappearing. It's it's rough. I don't know what's going on. Also, by the way, am I like locked? Kristen, do I or Bailey? When I talk, do I get full screen for you guys?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Just checking because I don't on my end, so I wanted to make sure that
There's
it wasn't,
Melanie.
like, locked. She's here. Yes. Okay. We're making progress. Yeah. Woo. Hey Mel, how's it going?
Good. I won a Swarovski necklace at conference.
Oh snap, girl, get it. Nice. Are you wearing it?
No, I decided to keep it for special, but I am wearing a Belle's Book Club jumper right now.
Ooh. Love it. A jumper.
I know, that's so cute. I was like, that's not what I thought a jumper was.
That's not a jumper.
Aren't jumpers like overalls?
A dress? Like a...
So, yeah, that's what you guys call a jumper, right?
This is
That's what we call a pinafore.
a pinafore?
So cute. Oh my god. What year is this? I love it.
That's like straight out of Jane Austen.
I know.
I had this problem when I was in South Africa. I was like organizing drawers in a like not like an orphanage, but sort of like a group home for kids. And I was trying to like organize all of these things, but they were like, now count the number of jumpers, the number of this, and like my friend and I were like, we're in a boys' room. Why would they have jumpers? And we ended up being absolutely useless because we didn't know what any of the things meant. It's like they had to go through and count everything again because we were like, you say jersey and you don't mean a jersey. I don't know what this is. What's a jersey to you, Mel?
So a jersey is like what my South African best friend calls a jumper.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Or a Jersey cow.
Okay.
Like, you know, the one you milk.
Yeah, sure. Because that's a sweatshirt is what a jumper or jersey is.
Or a
And
hoodie.
Yeah, or a hoodie. Yeah. And a jersey is like, I'm sure I have one, like what the All Blacks wear. You know, like an athlete would wear. A jersey is like with your number and all that stuff on it.
Okay. I think we call them All Blacks jerseys as well, actually.
Okay, so it's just got multiple uses.
It's got like multiple uses there.
I'm sure we have those as well that are confusing. But poor John is just not going to make it. Is Duncan coming, Bailey?
I don't know. I'm poking at him.
You're poking at him?
Skype.
Oh. It's not in the same place, apparently.
He's downstairs.
It's the usual. She's upstairs. He's downstairs. Well, we can get going, and hopefully John's thing will come back to life, and Duncan will show up, and all will be well with
I'm gonna go yell at him.
Yeah, good plan.
That's kind of. I was gonna suggest that, but I didn't want to sound rude.
Just yell.
I'm like, I thought, I'm like, just scream at him or hit a broom on the floor. I don't know. All right, well, let's start.
Yeah.
Welcome,
Cool.
maybe John's avatar, Mel. You good people out there. We read The Martian this month for the Fancave Fiction Book Club by Andy Weir. And it frankly was delightful. So those of you who maybe didn't read it, maybe you're just watching this book club later, or have never heard of it and live in a hole. It is about a manned mission to Mars, which gets aborted about 6 days in, and they accidentally leave a guy behind because they think he died. But he didn't die, surprise, surprise, and he's stuck on Mars. And so it's kind of the rescue mission / survival story of Mark Watney, the astronaut who gets stuck on Mars. So who wants to, I don't know, who wants, any first initial thoughts, I guess, on the book? Liked it, loved, hated it?
I read it in a day.
Yes.
Nice. Yeah. That seems to be the general consensus, I guess. The way that you read it is quickly in one day. What up, Duncan?
Not much. Someone forgot to, yell at me instead of actually,
You weren't at your computer.
No, I'm very rarely at my computer.
Really? I'm very often at my computer.
We're just talking about
we're just
initial impressions of The Martian.
Oh, all right. It was really good. I liked it.
Did you read it in a day?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was the first one to post saying I mainlined the damn thing.
Oh, that's right, yes. And you were both offering to ship me your copies because the library was taking so long. But
Yes.
I did get it. It's
Good.
here. I'll probably buy it, just so I can have it.
Mm-hmm.
I liked
It's
it.
a good one
I
to
want
buy.
to take it with me when I go to Mars so I can have ideas in case I get stranded. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't use it as an instruction manual. Melanie, did you like it? Did you say?
Yeah, I really loved it. I was actually reading it. I finished it in one day as well on my sick day, and I had no voice. Every time I laughed, I sounded like I was a barking seal or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was horrible. And I apologize in advance. The rooster is being ridiculously obnoxious today.
Yeah, of course.
The rooster's my favorite.
He
I
did
love
that
when the
last
rooster
time,
interrupts.
too.
Corey,
Mhm.
why are there two of you?
I think because my browser exploded because my computer is terrible, and so when I came back, I'm sure I'll disappear eventually.
Yeah.
And there's John again.
Hey.
Yay!
Welcome, John.
We have a robot voice now.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Sort of.
And-
Oh dear.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Well, he tried.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried.
I liked it as well. Also.
Yeah. I would say when I... Oh, go ahead.
Really loved it a lot. I thought it was really fun. It was just a fun book. I feel like and then I flipped to the back and I looked at what Andy Weir looks like. And I was
Oh
like,
my
first of
gosh.
all, of course this guy wrote this book.
Yeah.
And I can almost see him sitting at his keyboard being like, as he's writing, you're like, I am so hilarious. Such a nerd, And then
Yeah.
towards the end, I was texting my friend who lent it to me, and I was like, just tell me if he lives, because I'm getting to the point where I'm wondering, this looks like it might,
There's not enough book left.
maybe it won't work out. And he's like, I'm not telling you. And then I got to the very end and I saw the picture. I'm like, there's no way this face would have killed Mark Watney. What the-
Yeah.
That's a good point. I think when I started the book at first, I was a little skeptical. I was like, there's a lot of math and science happening here. I was like, I don't feel like I can read a whole book of this.
I
And then-
glanced over the math and science. That wasn't
the whole
important.
time. Yeah, the entire book I glazed when it came to the math and
Yeah.
science. I was like, I feel like you could just write tech in here, and I'm like, okay, I'm good. Essentially, I read enough of it to be like, I feel like this seems reasonable. I believe it.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, so at first I was like, I don't know about this, and then it sort of got more into the groove of. I think once it added other people too, because I was like, am I just gonna listen to him detailing this the whole time, or is something else gonna happen? And then they deal with the people back on Earth and all that kind of stuff, and I was like, okay. Now I'm a little more invested in this in a sort of relational way than I had been in the first place. I'm like, there's so much to it. And then once it got into that and picked up, and I sort of started skimming over all of the stuff I didn't understand, I was like, I can get into this.
Oh, see, I liked all that stuff I didn't understand because it gave context and whatnot.
Sure, yeah. I think, that's what I was saying, just reading enough of it to be like, okay, that I see what's happening here was really all I felt like I needed to do. Enough to understand what the drama of the next conflict was. Well, why do they need this thing from China? Or, stuff like that, and move on from it. Otherwise, I was a little lost. But I really liked it, personally. So what are your favorite things about this? Everybody liked it. We have consensus.
His sass.
This is sad.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I had to like fold over a page because there was one that was my absolute favorite fast moment. Oh no. What it was when so what is it? Venkat, is that the name of the person? Anyway.
Venkat or Vecna, yeah.
Yeah, so it says, Teddy swiveled in his chair and looked out the window to the sky beyond. Night was edging in. What must it be like, he pondered. He's stuck out there. He thinks he's totally alone, that we all gave up on him. What kind of effect does that have on a man's psychology? He turned back to Venkat. I wonder what he's thinking right now. Log entry, Soul 61. How come Aquaman can control
talk
whales?
to whales, yeah.
They're mammals. Makes no sense.
Yep.
It's like, yes! I absolutely love that.
Yeah. My favorite moment of his sass was when they first get back in touch to him and he starts swearing at them and they're like, hey, watch your language, the entire world is watching you. And he goes, hey, look, boobs!
Right after he had asked them, like, why the F, he was like, what's wrong with you? What the hell is wrong with you for not telling the rest of the...
Yeah, exactly.
That he was alive.
It's almost like a teenager, a really smart teenager wrote this book.
Right.
You know, like some of the things is like, I don't know.
But, I mean, that's just about every dude in science, let's be honest.
Right, exactly. Look at his bio in the back of this thing. Was first hired as a programmer for a national laboratory at age 15.
Yeah.
Software engineer ever since.
Yeah.
That's about right.
So that sounds about right, I guess.
Yeah. Other favorite moments or things about this book or things like that?
I thought it was really well paced. Like, it just kind of started up.
Yeah.
Off,
You guys
like,
say hi to Steven and Jill.
Hey.
What up?
We were in the pool, and they were still in there, but now they feel awkward.
Now the whole internet can see your shame.
I know, and Jill's basically naked. She's in a swimsuit.
Oh, gosh, Jill. Have some decency.
Cover up.
Or don't, you know, I'm not complaining.
Alright, so Duncan, pacing.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, Jill, your phone. Sorry, I just yelled.
Get it together, Kristen.
Sorry. Okay, go ahead. Who's going? Someone's favorite
Duncan.
part?
Was
I said that I
about
liked how well the book was paced. I felt that it, you know, kept it pretty consistent. I never felt like it was slowing down.
Right. Aside from my
Gets to a
concerns
good
at the
point.
beginning.
It's just like, no, why? What is happening?
Yeah, that's one of the things I like too, just sort of in terms of the pacing thing, is that I liked that, because towards the end I was like, there isn't enough book left, what could happen, he has to die or whatever, but I like where they ended it too, you know?
Yeah.
Like, he didn't necessarily have to, like, and then we get to see the welcome home, or like, you know, all this kind of stuff. It was just like, it happened, everybody rejoiced, good times. You know, I don't need to know like the drama. Do Beck and what's her face like get together?
Well, they did.
They did, but like, I mean, I don't need to know like does it last? 6 months later, are they married? Do they have a baby? Like, I don't.
Oh, yeah.
Like pacing wise, it reminded me of the first time I read Jurassic Park.
I still have never read Jurassic Park.
Oh my God, get out.
I know. I have like the whole like, you know, book that has that and Lost World in it. But
Well, you don't need to read The Lost World. The Lost World's worse than the movie, but you definitely should read
worse
the first
than
Jurassic
the
Park.
movie. Really?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, that's good to know. I mean, I actually
We're talking
movie, but...
Velociraptors that have natural camouflage so good they turn invisible bad.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll pass on that, but I do need to read the actual Jurassic Park, seeing as it's my favorite movie, and everybody loves that book. I do have to get to it. But
it's a really good book.
Yeah, John, are you moving in like live action styles now?
I think I am.
He said he thought he was, but unfortunately,
famous last words.
He was the little engine that couldn't today.
I like where it paused on him, though. I don't know if it looks like from him, but he looks really happy.
Yeah, he does.
A little sleazy.
He looks happy to have tried.
Yeah. Keep on keeping on, John. This is unfortunate that because John really wanted to talk about this book that the internet is
Sorry,
failing.
John. There can be only one male in this conversation.
The rule. That is the rule. Yeah. What else? Struck you guys about this this book here? I know Melanie had a lot to say about this.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing: is I'm not usually one for like swear words, but I loved the like super random moment where it's like they don't even set it up with Watney. They're just like, don't tell NASA to go F themselves. Like, I can't say that.
Yes.
But there was like no like context to it at all at that point in the book. It was just like that one line. It was so good.
Yeah, yeah. And I love when he tells them that they can, like, that their mothers are all prostitutes, as are their sisters. Like, he's just, I don't know. I think, which one of you referred to him as being, like, a smart teenage boy?
That was me.
Kristen, yeah. I think that that's so apt, because it really feels like, I mean, reading this feels partially like when I, like, write things in my journal or whatever, you know, it's just totally casual and saying ridiculous things out of nowhere. I'm like, it feels like that, so it feels very real. But it also feels like people you know. And, you know, I went to, do you guys know what Star Talk Radio is?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's hosted by sometimes Neil deGrasse Tyson, sometimes Bill Nye, things like that. And they do a tour of it, so they do Star Talk Live. So I went and saw it. It was like Bill Nye and Tig Notaro and Eugene Merman, and then 3 female scientists from JPL. And so it was like a super cool thing to see them kind of talk about going, like, the kinds of things they do and everything. And if you remember from that big launch, the guy with the mohawk.
Everyone knows him.
Yeah, so I ended up, like, seeing him outside, and I was like, hey! And took a picture with him, and it was, like, cool seeing, like, you know, these people who are just very normal and cool people and everything, but also happen to be, like, science geniuses.
Right.
And so reading this book, it was like, I felt like I understood that, you know? This is, you know, they're almost like celebrities, I guess. I just feel like science people are just so cool and untouchable, and I can never be them.
It's like how one of the guys in the comedy band Ninja Sex Party is a theoretical physicist for his day job.
Wow, that's a heck of a day job.
Yeah, he's a professor of theoretical physics in England. When he's not making, you know, ridiculous music.
That's awesome.
Yep.
What is theoretical physics?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Look, I studied psychology in college.
Yeah, okay,
I didn't go into the whole physics route.
Fair enough. That's an unfair question. None of us are scientists. We just read The Martian. That's as close to science.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure I could survive on Mars after reading this.
Look, my best friend took chemistry in college, not physics. So you know, I can't even phone a friend on this one.
Yeah, nope. Here's my I like that you bring that up, Kristen, the surviving on Mars, because I think that on top of being a fun, sciencey, nerdy, whatever thing, it's also, I mean, it harkens back to things like your Thoreau type things, or your what was the one with the boy who lives in the woods by himself?
Hatchet?
My Side of the Mountain.
Oh yeah.
You know, and things like that, and just like the idea, and anything really that questions like, what can people survive, and how resourceful can they be? And it's something that kind of, you know, we sit here and you can't help but think, like, what would I do in that situation? And the answer is probably just die, you know. But it's fun to watch someone sort of MacGyvering things and figuring all that stuff out, and you know, imagine, like, just sort of what people are capable of. Yeah. I enjoyed that element of the book a lot. You right there, Kristen?
Yeah, that's dogs, man.
Okay. Am I here now?
Maybe.
We can hear you.
Yeah, well, that's good enough.
Yeah.
Good. Cool.
You're kind of like a black endless void, but we can hear you.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's how I usually look.
Yeah, that's actually what John
then
looks
everything's
like.
fine.
Robot.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, John, give us your take on this now that you're here. This is John. He works at the comic book store. Or worked, not anymore. Worked once upon a time.
I work at IT now.
Oh, IT.
Oh God, my condolences. I also work in IT.
So yeah, and then booked in.
Oh no.
Oh gosh.
I'm a pretty, like, you know, a lot of, like, the more books about space and stuff like that. You know, anything 13 related.
Gosh darn it.
Gosh darn it.
John needs to get off that Fisher-Price internet.
I know. Well, the thing is, we live in technically like the same place. I don't know why his is not working. So
Well, if you live like in technically the same place, he should just like come over and like just be sitting on the couch next to you.
Why don't you and Bailey
that
sit
would
on the
work.
couch next to you?
Because he's really loud.
Yes, because I'm very loud.
I can hear him up here.
Whoa! How did John make a talk bubble like that? Oh, I mean, just can't hear you. That's all.
Yeah.
We like
if you want to hang out and listen to us chat, you're welcome. But it's so hard because you keep jumping in and out and in and out.
Yeah. Worst. Hopefully he can hear us saying that, because my keyboard doesn't work on this, so I can't actually type back to anyone.
Goes on tight. Well, he nodded that he could hear us, so I saw that much on his little screeny.
Okay.
Now he says yes, so.
Maybe he's just writing in really long. Write your thoughts to the book in the chat.
No, you know what? This is performance art. He's trapped on Mars, and the rest of us have to help him.
That's what it's
Mark Watney.
No, he's Mark Watney, so he has to. Remember the code they used before they got the computer working?
Yeah, right.
Up the...
Yeah.
Spell stuff out with rocks.
Yeah.
Oh man, just the worst. Spelling things out with rocks after having had access to email. I was so sad when he lost access to it. So I was like, he's treasuring the thing from his mother and all that kind of stuff, and then it's gone. I was like, no, say it ain't so. But that's also a fun thing about this book too, is there were times where I was like, no, and times where I was like, yeah, and I was doing it out loud, like
totally, 100% cheering when he did like awesome thing.
Yeah, and I feel like there's not a lot of books that I get that into.
Yeah,
you know?
I remember yelling at him about the storm when he was like, oh, maybe it's it was kind of cloudy today, and that's why I'm like, it's because you're heading into the storm.
Yeah, I felt like Bastion from Neverending Story.
Oh my gosh, I was getting so. I'm like, I need to stop reading because this is getting so stressful. I was just yelling at him. Like,
I just read more whenever that happened.
Oh man.
I don't know. I felt very invested in it, and so I mean, I guess that's part of the thing that's so fun about seeing something from like one person's perspective, essentially. It's that you're just like you're following along, and you only know as much as he does in most situations. But when you do know more, you're like, turn back, don't do it.
There were those like really weird, like godlike moments in the book.
Yeah, there are those strange. Yeah,
those strange things where it's like the man on Mars doesn't know it, but his, Humvee's about to tip over, and you're like, what? Yeah. Like, it was. I remember just being so confused. I'm like, where is his voice? Where is this coming from?
Did that ever come back around? Like, did they ever? In my head, so I reasoned it out as like this being like the history book version, like the historian telling it. But I don't know. I have no idea why there were some random moments like that.
So weird, and they were like sporadic. So I feel like there were like 3 of them, and then that was it. And they didn't really use that a whole. It was very strange.
John says he thinks that's Mark narrating after.
Oh,
because they do have that. Yeah, they have that kind of. I don't know I don't know how you describe that voice, but there's something about them that seems a little like he's acknowledging he's being meta and ridiculous about it. So maybe that's probably right. I don't know. It's just when those things came around, I was always like, whoa.
Yeah. What's happening?
Who's
telling
this?
Those were the parts that made me the most stressed out because you were like, oh no, something is bad about to happen. Those would usually kind of was an omen to something that was not going to work out for him. And you're like, oh man. And I really thought it was an omen, but it ended up not being an omen when the doctor guy and the German, remember the doctor's like, well, if I untether, then I can reach him.
Yeah.
And the commander's like, you're not untethering, like that's an order, you're staying tethered. And then he tells the German guy, like, hey, if I can't reach him, just untether me and let me go out to get him. And I was the whole time thinking, that's it. Like,
no, it's gonna happen.
They're gonna lose that guy when they get Mark back. That's what I kept thinking over, and I'm like, this is it. I was like preparing myself mentally for the fact of like they were gonna go through this whole deal, and it was like still gonna be a cluster, and they were all gonna die.
Yeah, they're gonna
And I was like, I can just imagine him and Mark like floating off.
No,
not the small.
Yeah,
The smallest little gal would survive.
Yeah, exactly. Which is so. I think that's something that subverts expectations because they set you up with all these things like, oh well, she's gonna eat people if it comes to it, and things like this that you're like, you are set up for it to fail in multiple ways, but then it subverts that expectation that we're so used to. Because when we do see any form of space movie, like people have to die. Nobody ever lives like
Except for
no whole
Apollo
cast.
13.
Yeah, right.
And this book reminded me of Apollo 13 the whole way through, which is why I always felt like, yeah, they're all going to make it because it's going to be like that.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, Apollo 13. I'm going to sound like an ass by making this up, but isn't that a real thing?
Yeah, it's a real thing that happened, but it's also a space disaster movie where everyone survives.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
This whole book felt like, Apollo 13, only more so.
Right. And I think, when it comes around to it, it's about like what the author is trying to get across in this book, and it's which he clearly says in the very end, which I cheered up a little bit, even though it's in like the trailer of the movie or whatever, when he has that whole thing about people having an instinct to help each other out, know. And so at the end of it, the point isn't really to make a book that makes you cry or a book that, I don't know, in the end, most of this isn't the point. It's cool. He did all this stuff that he put together, and he survived and all that. But in the end, it's just a story about people helping each other.
Yeah, I definitely 100% cried at the end. I was like, oh
yeah.
Well, and it reminded me of, it's also from the trailer, the part when Teddy, what's the bureaucrat, the administrator guy, is talking to Sean Bean, who plays the guy that's pushing for the team to go back and get him.
Right.
Sean Bean's character, and he's like, we can't risk the life, it's not worth it, or whatever he says, and Sean Bean just kind of looks at him, he's like, yes, it is. Like, it's like the dumbest thing that guy's ever heard. He's like, of course it's worth it. And I'm like, oh yeah, it is.
And that's the way, that's the way the crew reacts too. It's like they instantly, everything changes. Like, the commander is like, all of a sudden they're all smiling, and it's a thing they could all very easily die doing. They could fail at this mission. It could be a disaster, but the chance to help and to fix this is something that's so much stronger that for all these characters it becomes more important. And so John asks, what do we all think of the broader cultural impact of this? Have you read anything about what I lost it.
About what the science community's been saying.
Yeah.
Oh. Has anybody?
I haven't.
Nope. I did see that my favorite astronaut, Chris Hadfield, reviewed it on the back, but that's about it.
Oh, I didn't have a Chris Hadfield review on the back of mine.
I have the paperback. Maybe that's why.
Chris Hadfield says, a book I just couldn't put down. It has the very rare combination of a good original story, interestingly real characters, and fascinating technical accuracy. Reads like MacGyver meets Mysterious Island. I love that guy. But no, John, have you seen anything coming out about this?
Yes. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Oh,
gosh darn it.
It's like, maybe if we don't acknowledge him, if we just look away.
Yeah. Just everybody ignore me.
He is the ghost.
Ignore me!
No, yeah, I think there's been a whole lot of discussion around this book, and I know people like Adam Savage have talked about Chris Hadfield. A whole bunch of other astronauts have talked about this, and I think it actually puts together a very interesting idea with regards to space exploration about how if we want to go to Mars, Earth will have to go to Mars, which is ultimately the idea they come up with at the end of the book. They say, hey, in order to do anything super productive out here, everybody's got to work together. And I think that's really cool. Neil deGrasse Tyson's talked about it, this book in particular. And a whole bunch of, obviously, Hatfield. I'm trying to think of the name of the guy doing 1 year in space at the ISS right now. But I know he's briefly mentioned this book. So I think it's really cool. I think I hope this ends up being a thing that gets people the broad about Mars.
It's an interesting question I have to go along with that then, because when I did see the Star Talk radio thing, It was specifically about Mars. And one of the something's going on over there.
Yep.
Noisy
not me.
neighbors. I'm
I hear
sorry.
lots of people with accents. But one of the things that they talked about, someone asked a question actually in the Q&A that had to do with the idea of colonizing Mars, and all of the JPL people were like, "Ugh!" immediately, like, "Oh, I hate that," and they didn't like the idea of colonizing Mars and what that sort of entails. You know, when they look at it as like research and exploration and everything, their idea isn't necessarily we want to like take over, plant the flag. So I'm curious as to what you've sort of read in that sense too, that scientists are saying.
Yeah, well, I think the general consensus there is that, like, you know, colonizing a planet is so far off that
Right.
if you set that as the goal,
Yeah.
in 20 years when people don't
Yeah, in 20
He
years,
was
if people
gonna
don't
say-
see that, it'll sing.
Right, nothing like fruit. You know, like nothing comes out of it. They're gonna be like, we're not really gonna do it. It's one of those things.
Yeah,
It's
and
like
then,
the whole
and then
flying
it
car
ends up
thing.
setting
Like,
us back in the
we're
end.
gonna have flying
Yeah.
cars, and then we still don't. People are like, it's such a pipe dream. Let's just quit doing anything, because if we're not gonna colonize it, who cares? It's like, set baby step goals. I'm
Well,
still
flying
thinking
cars
about-
is like
that
a
what you're
real
trying to
bad
say?
idea for air congestion anyway.
Yeah, that's never struck me as a particularly good idea.
Yeah, but I mean, if you can send, you know, even Curiosity and stuff like that, I think do a great job of saying, and then you get there.
It
Really, this is
wasn't
awesome.
a lot. I wish that this were coming through because John has such good insights on this.
Yeah, no, but he said, you know, you get there and it's awesome. That's about all I heard.
Yeah. that was the gist, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. But another thing that came up too that I think is interesting is the race to send people there commercially, to send people to Mars commercially. And you know, one of the things that came up was that there's all these people who can spend billions of dollars and so forth to develop these kinds of things, and they say that they will be there. You know, in 20 years, they're going to be having these people, you know, one-way trips to Mars, and they're going to stay and live there.
Well, that whole thing turned out to be a hoax, but...
Yeah, well, yeah, there was that whole debacle with that. But, you know, it's not just one group that's doing it. There's multiple that are saying that they're going to be able to do that. And that was another thing that really, I think, for the JPL people who are at this, really kind of turned them off to this. Like, this is not why we should be going to Mars, you know, to sort of just, like, send tourists up there to die essentially and to colonize it and things. There are things we can learn from it before we even begin to think about that as an idea.
Right, but it goes both ways though, because if you get corporations behind the idea that there's money on Mars, then it's going to be easier to get your scientists there to learn things.
Right, which is they're in that ambivalent state about it, obviously, but I think that's a thing that they feel like if they were to get in bed with those kinds of interests, it would be a huge compromise. They're not sure whether is worth it in the end. You know? So it's a fascinating concept, the whole idea of Mars exploration and what does that mean, and you know, these frontiers that humans feel the need to explore and why, and what are the motives, what are the good motives, the bad motives, all neutral. Who knows? But I don't think the book obviously comments on that necessarily. It's not really the point, but they're all interesting questions. Sure. Yeah. Any other thoughts on The Martian that people have?
Well, knowing that it was going to be made into a movie soon, I was wondering at first how it would do as a movie, because the thing is, even though it's a great book, a lot of it is like, and then he drove this way for 20 miles, and then he drove this way for 20 miles.
Yeah, right, but that's all stuff you can cut.
Yeah.
That's all stuff you can cut down in a movie.
It reminded me of what they were saying on the Mad Max trailer, like the 2-hour Mario Kart game from hell. Like, drive this way.
Totally.
This way.
What I'm excited about, for at least knowing, well, and now watching all of the trailer, and if you see all the clips that are coming out, I think it's fun the way they're kind of marketing it as if this was a real team, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they even had basically it was an Under Armour commercial, but it was showing Mark Watney like working out to show you like I'm going to Mars, and I was like, I know this is just a commercial for Under Armour, but I love it so much, I'm gonna watch it and be obsessed with it. I don't care.
Yeah.
But even there was a short clip that they released, and I think this is the one that we talked about this week on the podcast. But it looks like I imagined it looking. So it's like when they're in the hab and whatever, and they're like, okay, we gotta go, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so great, like this is what it's like. That's I don't know, just the pictures they're releasing of him in the places, and I feel like it looks so cool.
It's funny you say that, because while I was reading the book, I imagined Martinez as Michael Pena, and then I found out, they actually did cast him as Martinez. Amazing.
Perfect.
Now, mind you, that could be because I just saw Ant-Man the night before, but I don't know.
He should be in all the things, realistically.
Yeah.
Now, is Donald Glover... Oh, sorry.
No, go.
Is Donald Glover the guy, the, like, antisocial guy who comes up with the maneuver?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a steely-eyed rocket man.
Yeah, I absolutely loved that. What was his name? I don't know, but when he tells him he's being difficult, he's like, I wish people would tell me when I'm being difficult, and then the end of the chapter ends with them being like, so-and-so, you're being difficult. It's like,
he's like, yeah, okay, sorry.
Yeah, I love it. I love that character. Who didn't really have that much in the book, but I imagine in the movie will probably be present more often. Donald Glover.
Yeah, I just think I think it has a great chance of being, I don't know, I'm stoked for it. And I actually didn't get to talk about my favorite part because I think I got up to talk to someone. But I love when he finally gets to talk to the crew on the computer when he gets to the MAV, like before they come to pick him up, and he's talking to Johansson. Remember? And there's like, he's like saying all this stuff, and all of a sudden she says, when we pick you up, I will make wild, passionate love to you. And then he's like, I didn't type that. That was Martinez. Whatever. And then he just goes like, I've really missed you guys. And I just like imagine them being this like fun team of like, they become this family, and he's just like, I've missed you so much,
Right. And just imagine like you have not talk to this guy, you thought he was dead for months and things like that, and you get the opportunity while someone else is talking to him and steps away to say something, and that's what you choose to do. It's like a prank on him.
I feel like that's how you know they're such good friends, where it's like that's what Martinez chooses to do, because he knows Mark is going to be like, yes.
I mean, what Martinez did is absolutely what I would do if someone else walked away from the keyboard. Like 100%.
Yeah. Exactly. I loved it. I thought that was...
I don't know. So they just made him seem so, like, while he's so smart, it just made him seem like such a person too, and like everybody seemed, they're like, these are also just like people who.
It's shocking how smart people can be actual people too, right?
Right? Yeah. I don't expect them to be funny or anything like that.
Judging by like every representation of like your science-y people in movies and TV is always like a little bit of a wet blanket, and like they don't have the right social cues and all that, but at least they're super smart. Like they may save the day, but they're gonna be super awkward and weird and all that. And like this was just a team of like normal people who happen to also be super brilliant, and that's kind of a refreshing thing to have on there.
Yeah,
it's like the Big Bang Theory if it wasn't awful.
Right, exactly.
I feel like this book is going to make science cool, I feel like the movie and the book are like, look, it's cool to like science, and you can still be like, have a sense of humor and whatever.
I told Keo the other day that I think that Mark Watney is going to be a name that you can like reference.
Oh, I like when they're now. I've already started doing it.
I know, I totally do, and I think that it is like there's something about this character that I think is going to resonate with people, and that's going to sort of. I mean, I think you'll be able to reference Mark Watney, and people will know who you're talking about the way that you reference people from other movies that have been super, iconic and things like that. I hope.
Yeah, I think this movie ends up as close to the book in quality as the Jurassic Park did.
Yeah.
I think more than any other character in literature that I've read recently, in movies, he is like what I imagine other countries imagine Americans as. Like we just care about much of anything. So he's the new Han Solo.
Yes, totally is. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. Ugh. And you think about it, this is just like Saving Private Ryan on a gigantic global scale.
Right.
Everybody's trying to save him.
Yeah, that's true.
Wow.
So it's Saving Private Ryan, Han Solo. There's a lot here. I think if they
And a little Good Will Hunting.
with a little Good Will Hunting, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Matt Damon is iconic, you guys. Think about it.
He really is. I think he was a great choice on this, and it's also redemptive of his character, Interstellar.
I didn't like that one bit. That made
Not
me
one
very
bit.
mad. I don't like it.
I don't like it. But I do, yeah, I think this movie, if it's done as well as it looks like it's going to be done, has potential to really be, like, just something that's in, like, the general culture. It's the zeitgeist, the cultural lexicon, something that will reference and everyone will have seen. And I feel like we don't get,
I hope
outside of Marvel movies, I feel like we don't necessarily have a lot of those at this point. And Mad Max was one that did that this summer that everybody saw, everyone could talk about. And so I see this as sort of like another chance at that, you know, to have those things like your ETs, like anything Spielberg's made basically, but, you know, stuff that everybody sees and everybody enjoys and talks about and makes reference to.
I now own 4 copies of Mad Max.
It only came out, what, 3 days ago?
Yeah, but when you buy like the 3D Blu-ray, it comes with a 3D Blu-ray, a regular Blu-ray, the DVD, and a digital copy.
Everything does that now. Like I just got two Blu-rays, and they both come with like another like DVD/digital copy and stuff inside. Like nothing is just one.
And then if you're one of those freaks like me with a 3D TV, you have a 4th copy in there too.
That's crazy. I don't. What is it even like having a 3D TV?
It's like having a regular TV, except sometimes you can watch movies in 3D or play games in 3D if you feel.
And you
like
wear glasses, or is it like a DS where you just?
Nah, you gotta wear glasses for it.
Okay, interesting.
Sounds miserable.
I can't imagine that. Next time I'm in Massachusetts, Duncan.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
watch the Mad Max in
over,
3D.
and you're gonna have to show me. Yes, it'll be great because I'm very curious as to how this works. Sorry.
No
I've
problem.
been doing good. I haven't been coughing as much this whole time as
Yay!
I inhaled an orange rind.
an orange rind.
Yep, it was an accident.
It's
That
just what he
doesn't
does
sound
for
like something
fun.
I'd recommend doing.
Yeah, he just inhales orange rinds. Keep it fresh. Keep things exciting.
Yeah.
Well, anything else anyone has to say about this delightful tome?
I can add a couple things.
Yes, absolutely.
You were saying about like the perspective that other countries have on like Mark Watney being the typical American. As a Kiwi, I can say that that's definitely true. Like, the whole time I'm reading this, I'm like, yep.
America.
Yep.
That's
and I mean,
funny.
my father is born and bred American, so I'm like, the whole time I'm like picturing like a young version of my dad.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that he's played by friggin' Matt Damon in the movie means he looks like a young version of my dad, which is weird.
Yeah. Actually, yeah.
No,
Yeah, mine too.
I recommended this book to my dad, and when I told him about it, I said, imagine you wrote a book about that one time you were stranded on Mars. And he's like, sold.
That's a good way to pitch it. I think I'm going to use that. I mean,
I'm gonna use that too. I'm gonna steal that. I like it.
Not that
And my
anyone
dad-
needs to be sold on this at this point. But
Seriously.
But it's
Everyone
funny
should
'cause
just be reading it.
Yeah.
I
I also hope.
oh, so John's going in and out.
Confusing.
I'll just give up.
Aww.
That's unfortunate.
John, what if Watney had given up? Huh?
Oh no, he's real gone now.
Okay.
What the?
Oh dear. Oh, what the heck?
Oh god.
Well played.
Gosh.
Well played.
Nicely done. Nicely done.
Well, Mel, what were you gonna say? Since
I'm also really hoping that, like in the book, they had like a really small mention of like how Commander was feeling about the guilt of like leaving one of her team behind. And I'm really hoping that in the movie they extrapolate on that a bit more and like see like what she's really going through and stuff, because I think that would be like a huge thing, you know, like. Think about how you'd feel if you left one of your kids behind in like in another country or something by accident. Like,
yeah,
that would just like completely ruin you. And I would want to see how that plays out.
Yeah,
And
I
how
think
like
yeah.
team and everything.
Yeah, because they briefly sort of touch on that, and they even, we briefly get to see, like the people this crew talking to their families, about like staying extra time and things like that.
Yeah.
And I imagine, with the way that movies play out, we won't see as much of Watney MacGyvering, and we will see a little more of like what makes these people tick, and the important things that they have besides saving this guy. Which I agree. I would like to see more of that. I don't want that to be like the whole movie, but I would like to see more about the things that they're wrestling with in this whole process.
Yeah, that's what I want to see.
Did we lose Bailey too?
No, I don't think so. We just lost
I
her
just
picture.
switched to voice only because there's a lot less lag between everything.
Clever girl.
I like messing with settings.
Yeah, smart.
Sometimes.
So, any other thoughts, friends?
I love it.
It's amazing. It's so wonderful.
I will recommend it to everybody.
Yeah. I have also done this. I just offered it to someone. I borrowed it from someone. I'm like, oh, you can use it. I'm like, oh, it's not mine, but I'm sure they won't mind. The person that listens.
Just eventually bring it back. That's all.
Yeah.
Well then, this was wonderful, you guys. I'm glad that we finally got all the tech figured out. That it was a little slow getting started there, but
you can tell them it was me. You put me in charge.
Entirely my fault, actually, because
you weren't here to fix it.
I wasn't here to fix it. Yeah.
It's okay. However, normally we try to give you time to, like, we start 30 minutes earlier, but I was at the gym and I had Kristen do it. Like, I called her when I got out of the gym and I was like, "Here's the steps to follow," as if that was gonna work. And
And I wasn't writing it down. I was just trying to remember it.
I know. I was like, oh, this. I could tell, and I was like, oh boy, we'll see how this comes out. But you did a pretty good job. So
thank you. I did figure it out.
Yep. Speaking of tech, I figured out how to access the Q&A when you're doing a live show, and I sent you a screenshot.
Oh, okay, good.
So if you move your mouse all the way to the left, a menu pops up, and one of those says Q&A on it. You click on that, and all the questions that have been asked pop up on the side.
That's cool. I like that.
Cool.
That'll be good.
Oh!
Yeah. And we should let you guys know we do have a fun little tidbit coming for you. If you saw the picture screenshot that Corey sent, we have a little. So my buddy Owen, who's almost 6, came and talked to us about Star Wars today.
Nice.
And he's hard to understand because he's eating cookies almost the entire time we were recording. But,
like he's just shoving them in his mouth and answering questions and drinking milk and.
It's kind of amazing. It's kind of amazing. So we had a good time today. So we'll post that pretty soon too.
Yeah, we had our two cutest correspondents, Owen and Mac.
Owen and Mac.
Aww, dude.
Yeah, so I'll put that up soon. It's maybe Sunday because tomorrow's my birthday party.
Hey.
But yeah, so that'll about sum it up then, you guys. I'm gonna eat. I'm starving.
You should eat.
Girls.
Yes.
Corey and Kristen.
Yes.
I have tickets!
Oh, you do?
Yeah, so let's talk for like 2 minutes after you guys get off.
Okay, great. So we won't hold up Bailey and Duncan with it, but yeah. All right then.
Cool.
So good night and good luck.
Should I press stop broadcast? Is that what I should press?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yep.